Hey there, gamers. Welcome back to Crypticgamin. I hope you've been having a wonderful weekend. So, it's kind of early in the morning, but I wanted to show you this build I've been working on, and we finally got just about tweaked in. So, I'm going to show you what we got. I hope you really appreciate it. So, this is the best small ship build you're going to be able to do in the game. At least for now, there's some new weapons coming out, so it's going to evolve, but I highly recommend this. Okay, so before we get into the build, we're going to show the ship. It is the sloop, River Rat sloop. It has the River Rat perk, so I named it River Rat. I think it's pretty cool. So it has outburst perk, 50% chance of triggering an explosion, which deals 1,500 damage within a blast radius of 150 meters. That's pretty good. Increases the damage to structures by 40%. That's even better. And it's going to give you explosive damage increase of 15%. So that's going to be great. Anything that you use on this, you're going to want to have explosives. So here's what we have put on here. We have the Ruin perk, the Heavy Arsenal, and then, of course, River Rat perk. We are currently 7 of 7, a rank 15 on the upgrades used in Fire Bombards and Warhammers. Nocturne Heart, damage mitigations, 1125 armor, 30% mitigation against explosion, flooding, 20% against fires, 25% against piercing, and 20% against electric. And our furnitures, breach lock, bilge fire, barrels, bombard, monosaur, fontana station, the campaigning screens, and ramrod workshop. We're going to go over those in depth and explain why we chose those as well. So when it comes to our weapons, we are using the Fire Bombard 3 for right now. Eventually, I want to switch these out with Divine Winds when they enter the game. That just looks like a fantastic weapon to me. We have the Explosive 2 and Burning perks already on those weapons. Now we've added Shock and Amplified Electric. We will be coming in and finishing this off with that 3rd tier upgrade and putting, let's find the name of this perk here, guys. It evades my memory here at the moment, but we can just flip down here, and it is called the Second Storm. All electric damage dealt in this weapon also gets dealt to a nearby target and adds 7.4% as well. So this is going to be a great one because you're already getting explosive and fire. Now we're getting electric on there. We're really going to focus in on that electric damage. So I think we're going to see some really great things out of this. Now we're using that on all 4 of our Fire Bombards. And then for our artillery, we are using, again, a Warhammer, Rocket Artillery, Explosive 2, Burning 1. Those are the perks that are already on this. Then we're adding Shock, Severity, and Precision Patchwork. So the Severity has hits have a 12% chance of dealing additional 109% damage. You know, I'm working on this one here. I'm going to change some things up. I'm going to try to put Shock on it and maybe focus in, just as I did with the Bombards, amplified electricity and things like that, and see how that works out on that. So kind of playing between the 2 of them right now. Haven't really made my decision. And then, of course, I'm also playing around with a Eye of Heaven that I'm working on for this as well. Great. It's got blast. It's got electric. It's got the Tempest effect. You're going to have burn and amplified explosions on it. I think I'm going to put some amplified electricity on there. Don't know that I need to because it does already have that Tempest perk. So I think we may just put some, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to see what we roll on it. But I'm still kicking those ideas around. But so far, it's turning into a really nice ship. And yes, there will be a battle video for those who want to see this here in Tier 2. We're going to take it against the Megafor Houston. Okay, so Nocturne Heart. What made me decide to use this? Usually I go with Buccaneer Armor, but I'm using this Nocturne Heart for the damage mitigations, mainly because, man, everybody is using fire. It has a 20% mitigation against that fire, so that's pretty good stuff, I think. Plus, there's a little bit of explosives out there. Quite a bit of piercing, and a lot of these things don't have that piercing. So you have Euphoria, which is going to increase weapon damage by 15% and whole health when the whole health's above 75%. So that's pretty good. Now, Buccaneer's Oath, which is typically what I use, it is, let's see if we can find it here. Yeah, so it doesn't quite have the flooding damage that I like, and it has no electric damage. Not noticed a lot of electricity out there, but it does have that perk Blood and Gold, which is once you sink a ship or destroy a tower, you're going to get 25% boost to your weapons and your armor for 30 seconds. So I'm kind of playing between the two of them, testing this out, seeing how it works. But so far, I'm using Nocturne's Heart, and it's not letting me down. It's not disappointing. So furniture now is obviously furniture is going to depend a lot upon what you're using, and everybody has their own specified stuff they like to use. Now, because this ship already has so much DPS added to it, plus with the bombards the way they are feeding into it, we're going to put a few defensive things on here. So we got the breach locker furnace on here. It increases the secondary damage dealt up to 30%. Now that's the closer the target is. Now if it gets further out from 50 meters, it reduces by 3%. So for every 50 meters. Increases the charge rate of shell shock effect on enemy ships by 7%. Yes, it's got explosive and it can charge a shell shock, which is pretty nice. And it having that blaze effect, we could potentially put some things on here that's going to charge that shell shocked up with that blaze effect and get you that nice little boost on there if you wanted to as well. Bilge fire barrels, weapon hits against the target with a damaging status effect have a 5% chance to fully recharge those status effects. The effect has a 30-second cooldown, increases the secondary damage of broadside weapons by 10%. So that's a really good one on there. I'm running the Bombard Monosaur because I have bombards all the way around. Increases bombard damage by 10%, increases damage to structures by 8%. Increases the repair amount for repair weapons by 5%. As where do you get the Bombard Monosaur? That was something that dropped back in season 2, I believe it was, and we were running a lot of the in-game convoys. It came off one of the convoys. Not sure where you get that at now. You'll have to look at the codex to find that. And then, of course, the campaigning screens, we got that from one of the Hubach brothers in season 2. Again, you'll have to see where it's available at now, but this reduces area of effect damage from enemy ships by 15%. A lot of these ships are using area of effect, as you're noticing with the mortars and things like that. It also reduces incoming burning charge. A lot of these ships are now shooting these rockets that set fires. This thing actually does a really good job of negating that, at least by 7%, and increases your max hull by 3%. So then the Ramrod Workshop decreases the reload time of your broadside weapons by 15% and increases the secondary damage dealt by broadside weapons by 10%. So on the sides of this ship, we're getting some really good stuff on those bombards, guys. And I'm telling you, I'm loving the way it works. It just rocks these ships out. Now you might think Sloop, not going to beat that. Well, this is probably in my opinion, it's the best small ship you can get. And it will put itself again. I'll put this thing against just by any medium ship. Maybe not the schooner in a PvP, but a lot of them other ships will put it right up there against it, man, because it does such a fantastic job. So Fantana Station, or the Fatana Station, this actually increases secondary damage of rockets by 12% and increases the damage to structures by 12%. Great perk to have. You can use this thing for capturing little forts and stuff, taking out towers and all that kind of stuff. But very, very awesome ship. You may be wondering, what about these cosmetics that you've seen on that thing? These are the same cosmetics you see in the thumbnail with all the glowing effects. This is actually earned by fighting La Peste. Now, let us see if we can just find the bulk of it here. They should be... They've kind of changed this stuff around a little bit here. We'll just go through it slowly here. Yeah, this is called the Apaka's Rot Set, Foul Winds. This is what the sail is. Then, of course, the pattern. We went with Ride the Tempest. And for the emblem, we ended up going with the actual La Peste symbol there. Where are you at here? Whoop. This is on the La Peste ships. Now, I could change this out as King's Bane. Same thing with the hull here. We went with the Empaka's Tears. This skeleton's pretty cool at night. It just really glows and just has just awesome effects to it. Then the Vengeful Dead set, Moonstruck set. course, we're using Empaka's hand as well. Put the Conqueror on here. I may change that out. Mainly because it doesn't really add any extra, like, anything extra to it. We'll just have to play around and see what we decide. But so royal direction is the wheel that's on here. I think I'm going to switch that out with piercing inner depth set, the piercing decree. Then of course we're using the Ebon set for that. Like I say, feel free to mix it around a little bit. But that's what we've got so far, guys. And like I say, I really do recommend that you farm Lepest out. Now, farming him out in World Tier 2 can prove difficult. You can still farm him in World Tier 1. And it takes, if you're using those level 15 boats, this one here or schooner, it takes about 3 of you to take him down. And it doesn't take anywhere near as long as it used to. With great builds, with some distance and a lot of explosion, you're going to take him out pretty quick. So, do recommend, if you don't have those and you're looking for this cosmetic set, that you go ahead and focus in on taking out Lepest. But I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. We're going to hop off here and get back at the game.